We're back on here live for another Principals Hour. I know that you missed us and we also miss you, but we're back with our stakeholders right here at Kellis High School. Your acting principal, Jermaine Harris, is again in tune and live with all our stakeholders, our parents, our students, our teachers, our past students, the business community, the church, well-wishers, the community, all and sundry. We are very much happy to have you joining us. I know that you have been longing to hear from your school and what is happening. And indeed, we are on live. I want to thank my producer, as usual, Mr. Chambers, for allowing us to be on here using this app, StreamYard.com. And indeed, we are happy. All of us should be at home at this time. We are under the lockdown based on the Ministry of Health and the disaster risk management protocols that have been put in place. And we should be at home and trying to keep safe, trying to do all that we can to protect ourselves and our families. So we are very much happy to have you. The 25th day of April, when this program started roughly 8 months ago, I did not realize that time would have flown by so fast. And now we are at the final week of April, and maybe the final program in this dispensation. We may have to rebrand the program going forward. So let me just say that. Our principal, Mr. Christo, should be back on May the 1st, and therefore we will have to have discussions in terms of how we proceed with this program. I know you have been enjoying it. Please send your messages as usual. Let me know if you're hearing me loud and clear. Just I see something just coming up. You can let us know that you're hearing us. You should be able to stream us live on Kellis High School Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel. So you should be hearing us. We have a packed program lined up for you. We have been out for a little while, but we continue to do the work at Kellis High School in the interest of our students. I know it has been very difficult over the past 8 months or so. It has not been the normal, but we tried and we put all that we had to do to help our students, and we are very much happy to have you on. Glad to see you, Delisa, one of my faithful listeners and viewers. Very much happy to have you on. All right, good. So the last time when we were on here, I would have outlined to you that it has been very taxing to have a show every week, and therefore we wanted to reduce the number of broadcasts that we would be having, and therefore this is another one to update you on the happenings at Kellis High School, as well as to gather information, questions, suggestions from you, our stakeholders, in terms of the concerns that you're having and how we can improve as a school as well. So we do welcome all those suggestions later on in the program. So today, I will be going through the calendar of events for the summer term, which began on April 12th. I will be going through the activities that we have planned at Kellis High School for our stakeholders, especially the children. Then I will be going through the CSEC exam deferral, where students will be able to defer the exams if they meet certain conditions. And then I want to close the show with an interview with our vice principal for law school. She started with me in our new roles on September 1st, and we are almost at the end of our tenure. And I'm sure that our viewers would want to hear from our vice principal for law school. So those are some of the things that we will be going through for the next 1 hour or so. So we're very much happy that you could join us. We are anticipating that you will stay the course with us and let us have a very engaging and enthralling time during your principal's hour. So CSEC and CAPE SBA deadline, that should have been April the 19th. Most of our students would have met that deadline. However, there are still some students who are still having some challenges. Our teachers have been working relentlessly to help these students, and therefore we have extended the deadline to April the 30th, that is Friday. So for those parents who are listening, for those persons who know someone who have not completed their SBA, they have this week to do so, so that we can upload all those scores onto the online registration portal. So again, the deadline was April 19th. We have now extended it to 1 week, which is this week. So please get in those SBAs, those IAs to your teachers. Last Friday, we had National School Moves Day. That is a event that is orchestrated by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And we were asked as a school to drop everything and move. That was Friday at noon. I would have encouraged parents and all stakeholders to just do some physical activity as we seek to improve our physical well-being. And I want to encourage you all not to just do this on a one day or when we are asked to do, but we need to put this in our calendar. We need to put it in our diary, schedule it so that we can have at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes of physical activity daily. Our bodies would be, will be beneficial to it and will be very much in a better condition, even to fight COVID. We will be better to do that. So, all right, welcome, Curly Hines. I know you missed us. One of our faithful viewers as well, always tuning in. Glad to have you. All right, good. So we had that event last Friday, and I believe it was a success. I have not gotten back much videos from persons who would have worked out. I asked for some short videos just to show us what you did, but I believe that persons would have complied and seek to drop everything and move last Friday. National Child's Month activities will commence on May the 1st. May the 1st is this Saturday. But on the 3rd, which is the Monday, we want to start our activities at school officially. We're planning to have a devotion via Zoom. We're making plans for that, where we want to have a devotion and we want to have a launch, so to speak, in terms of the activities that we will be doing for our children for the month of May. Later on, I'll share some of these activities that we will be doing. Watching from Colorado, Demish, Redwood. Okay, good. All right, so we're getting international audience. All right, maybe this is your past school, not sure. What's the connection? You can send us a message, let us know. If you're a past student or you have family members attending Kelly's High School. Marcia Harris. I think I know that lady. All right, good evening, Marcia Harris. I think I know that lady. All right, Mr. Chambers. Good. So for the Child's Month activities, we want to have weekly quotes to empower our children. So each week we'll be posting some quotes on the PTA WhatsApp groups. in the form class groups, in the subject teachers groups, just to empower and to encourage our children. During this time, they may be not so motivated, some may be stressed for different reasons. Some may be having several issues. And as a result of that, we want to use the month of May to empower them and to build their self-esteem and to allow them to feel worthwhile as they navigate this pandemic. So we want to post those quotes on a regular basis. We also want to have a virtual concert, all right? A virtual concert, and our teachers will be performing. Yes, our teachers, we want our teachers to perform for children. So that is something to look forward to as well. We also want to have some psychosocial sessions with our parents and our students, where we try to assist them to cope with the emotional struggles that they are undergoing at this time. It is not easy. And as a school, we want to assist in whatever way we can to help our parents and students to cope. So certain coping skills, coping mechanisms, we will be sharing with parents and students during Child's Month. And we also want to have some awards and presents to hand out to our students, especially those who made the sacrifices to log on a regular basis. We want to treat them. So we're working on some little tokens and gifts to hand out to our children. So that is something to look forward to for the month of May. Also in May, we have Education Week, and this will be from May the 2nd to the 4th. And on the 4th of May, we'll be having Read Across Jamaica Day. That is a national event, and we at Kelly's High School will be doing our bit to have Read Across Jamaica Day activities as well. School would have begun for the summer term April 12th. So on the 10th of May, we'll be having our formal assessment, what we call tri-weekly test. So our tri-weekly test will be from May the 10th to the 14th. And these information will be uploaded to our students. I'm just bringing these to the attention of my viewers who have logged in and joining us on Facebook and YouTube. So tri-weekly test will be from May the 10th to the 14th. Our next PTA meeting will be on May the 12th. So the 12th of May, May 12th, we want to have our next PTA meeting. And at this meeting, we want to nominate and elect our executive body, which will serve for the school year 2021-2022. All right. All right. I think I know that lady as well. Barbara Christian, good evening, sir. Yes, and everyone. Thanks for joining in. Good, good. All right, so we're getting some greetings coming in. All right, later on we'll acknowledge. Good, good. All right, good evening, Peter Gay McKay. We'll just recognize as soon as they come up on the screen. All right, Peter Gay, that sounds like a past student. All right. And I think many persons would know Miss Christian. She has been a veteran, and I hope that one of these programs I'll be able to get her to interface with my audience as well. She taught me. Yes, Miss Christian taught me. So she has been a veteran at Kelly Secondary and now Kelly's High School. And I know that she would have a lot to impart, especially to our young people. Welcome, welcome. So the observance of Child's Day. All right, Alistair Grant, and you're a well-known supporter of this program as well, past student. And for those persons who would have been on regular occasion, it is because of this young man, and I always big him up, can't be too much. It is because of Alistair why we are able to stream live just now. All right? And we want to big up you, Alistair. Good, good. Hope to see you in Jamaica after the pandemic, sir. Coming back to your alma mater and really giving some motivational talks to our students. They really need it. And we like when past students would have done well and come back and share with the current cohort. All right. So Child's Day, that observance will be on May the 21. And on that day, we're going to do a lot of stuff for our children, even though they are online. We don't want them to feel left out. So most things that we did face to face, we would have pivoted and we would have brought it onto the online platform. And we try our best not to allow anything to slip. But we continue. All right, Ms. Busey, good evening. So our midterm break, you know that each term have a midterm break, and that one will be on May the 20th to the 24th, so right after Labor Day, thereabout in that area. Labor Day will be the 23rd. So in that week, we'll be having a midterm break, and school will reopen on May the 25th. Again, all of these information will be shared with our students. What about the children that, all right, we'll take the questions after, Mr. Chambers. So we'll just, all right, just keep that one in the background there. So we'll take those and questions after, and I'll try to provide answers to those questions. All right, Peter again. End of year examinations, to close off the year, students will be doing their final internal examinations, and this will be from June the 14th to July the 2nd. So July the 2nd will be the last day of school, and we want to start the exam on June the 14th. As it relates to CSEC and CAPE examinations, the dates that we would have received, the exam should commence on June the 14th. So the 14th of June, those exams will commence if there are no other changes. I know that there are different lobby groups. The JT, along with different unions, have been lobbying CXC to change the dates. I don't know what will happen in the future, but currently we are planning for the 14th of June. So those are some of the events that are planned for this term. You know, it is the shortest term of the school year, and we have put some activities in place, and we will inform you as we go along if there are any other changes. Currently, by now, all persons should be aware that the mode of teaching is strictly online, all right, due to the increase in the number of positive COVID cases. We are not allowed to have face-to-face classes, so all classes are now online. And yes, it has been challenging. Yes, it has been very, very difficult for our students and our teachers. However, we have to do the best that we can to continue the teaching and learning process. Yes, there is a major learning loss, and we do admit, and we are putting plans in place for the new school year. You will hear more about that. But currently, we continue to work with those students who are able to get on. We would have distributed a lot of computers, a lot of tablets and laptops to our students, but we know the major cry is internet connectivity. But we still continue to do the best that we can for our students. All right. So those are the events planned for the rest of the term. All right. So we're moving to the CXC exam deferrals. I know you would have been listening your news, and you would have heard the CXC, Caribbean Examination Council, would have said that students who do not believe that they are ready to sit the exam this year, they can defer, meaning they can put it off for the next school year. However, I want you to listen to me carefully, because it is not as it is not a done deal. It is not guaranteed that students will be able to defer. They would have to prove that they have met, that they have met all the conditions and all the criteria for deferrals. And let me just share some information with you. So the CXC has given students this opportunity, and students can defer for January 2022 or in the summer, which is usually May or June. But parents, listen carefully. There are some forms that are available at the school currently that if you choose or if you are desirous of your children putting off the exam for this year, those forms must be completed. On those forms, you will have to state the subjects that your child or children will be deferring for next year. They will also have to state which of the period they are deferring it to, whether it's going to be January or May, June. They will also have to state whether they will use their current SBA or they will use a new SBA score. And importantly, a learning plan must also be outlined in terms of how the parents will work with these students to help them to prepare for the exams next year. In other words, if you apply, it is not a guarantee that you will be given the opportunity to defer. So you have to prove to CXC that because of these reasons, you are applying for your child to defer the exams until next year. And in those reasons, you must state how, what action steps you will take to help your children to make up for the learning loss, as well as to be prepared to sit the exam next year. Let me hasten to say that the school may not be able to repeat these students. So it is dependent in terms of the space, the availability of space. So if we do not have space for the current grade 10s that will be moving up to grade 11, as well as these students who are requesting, and say we go back face to face, the school may not be able to retain these students. And that is why you have to put a educational learning plan in place to say that these are the things that you will do to help your children. So let me just say to you right off the bat, if you can help your children this year to sit the exam, please allow them to do so, because you don't know what will happen next year. It may be worse, it may be better, but we don't know. And that is why you get an opportunity now. So once the child is able to access the online learning, the child is able to get the help to do the SBAs, I would recommend for you to encourage your children to sit the exams this year. If there are extenuating circumstances that would have caused these children not to be able to ready or not be able to prepare adequately to sit the exam this year, then you can look at deferring those exams. But once the student is in a position to sit the exam this year, I would recommend that you go ahead. So when you collect those forms, we'll be working with parents to complete those forms. It must be signed by the applicant, which is a student. It must also be signed by the parent or guardian. It must also be signed by the subject teacher, and it must be signed by the guidance counselor. So for those persons who are interested, you need to collect those forms and they must be submitted back to the school by Wednesday, this Wednesday, the 28th of April. So if you're interested or you know persons who are interested in this process, I'm asking you to encourage them to collect those forms at the school tomorrow and Tuesday and to return them no later than Wednesday. So that is it for the CXC deferrals. A lot of persons have been WhatsApping me, asking me, sir, can I defer the exams until next year? And I say to them that it is not that of a simple nature. Once you're able to do it this year, try and see how best you can um, navigate through those difficult times. It is very challenging, I know. And our students weren't socialized to learn online. It is really adopting to new norms and to changes and to do things differently. But I believe that we will do better come the second year, whether we are online or face to face. I believe that our students will be better for this experience come the new school year. So again, the forms are available at the school. Please collect and complete so we can assess to see if these applicants would have met the criteria for deferral, and we'll submit to the Ministry of Education, who will make the final decision. All right. Good. Mr. Chambers, I'm going to ask you to see if you can get my vice principal online. I think she'll be joining me in the broadcast shortly so that I can have an engagement with her to find out how things have been over the 8 months and our experience to date. All right, so we're waiting for our vice principal to join us. So let me just re-emphasize some points here, parents, as it relates to your SBA. Now, you know that SBA is a percentage of the final grade. At Kelly's High School, we would have reached out to most, if not all, the students who have not shown an interest in completing the SBAs. And some parents would have helped us, some parents would have complied, and they would have worked with the teachers. Some did not show much interest, and they are waiting until the last minute. And this has been a perennial problem. It's not just since COVID. There are some students who will not work with deadlines. If you tell them to submit the SBAs in different phases, they will not show any interest. And when they hear about the final deadline, that is when the interest is shown. So I'm saying to parents, whether your children are doing SBAs now or in the future, I'm asking you to encourage them to try and meet deadlines, because the deadline should have been from April the 19th. We did not. Some students did not make that deadline. We're extending it now, and we hope that they will meet the deadline by April the 30th. All right? So we're trying to get our vice principal, Miss Pamela Henry. Trying to get her to connect. Reaching out to her now. Mr. Chambers is trying to make that link. All right, so in the meantime, before she comes on, I'll take those questions in the meantime. So there are some questions, persons, any questions re what I would have said? What about the children that graduated and did well in the academic year 2020? Yes, we are planning awards for those students. The issue is that we have not gotten the official report from CSEC, Petergate. So it is just the preliminary reports we would have received, even up to early this year. There are some students whose grades were changed because CXC were doing their investigations. So as soon as we have the formal result, yes, those students will be honored at a ceremony. Most likely it will be virtual. I would have highlighted the top achievers on one of my programs some time ago. I would have done that, but we want to recognize these students with some token to show our appreciation for the effort. So that will be coming, Peter Gay. You will hear more about that. All right. All right, we're still waiting on connecting with our vice principal. All right, any other questions? All right, she's coming up, so we'll join her. All right. Good afternoon, Vice Principal Henry. How are you doing? All right, unmute. Unmute, please unmute. All right, good.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, hearing me well?
Yes, loud and clear, loud and clear. And how are you
Very good.
doing?
Yes. I am fine, thank you. How are you?
All right, I'm fine myself. All right, good. I know that we have been putting a lot of work for the 8 months, and it would be remiss of me not to bring you on so that my viewers can hear a little more about you and in terms of your accomplishments over the 8 months. So, welcome to the Principal's Hour, and please give us a little synopsis of your time at Kellett High School before you became vice principal. I know that you have been a veteran
Ah,
teacher. Just give my viewers a little synopsis of your time before vice principalship.
all right. A good afternoon, everyone. Again, um, sir said synopsis. I don't think the word synopsis can describe, my adventures at Kellett High School. But, to put it briefly, I came to Kellett way back in the year 2000. So if it is 2021 now, then you have an idea of how long I have been here at Kellett High School. I came as a regular subject teacher, tiny little thing, but someone who was full of energy and someone who, embraced change and who was always willing to go the extra mile for students. And I think that that should be one of the major traits of any teacher to go the extra mile for students. And I have worked diligently and creatively, if I dare say so, to enhance Kellett High School. I came up through the ranks as a form teacher, regular subject teacher of English language and literature, and I advanced to the position of grade coordinator. I coordinated grade 7 and grade 8 back in 2015, thereabouts. And after that stint there, I can tell you that I grew as an individual. I grew as a teacher because I became a mother for many of those students. And it was a very enlightening experience. And it is very endearing to me when I can actually see where some of my children are now, because I refer to them as my children, because I had a hand in their
Yes.
holistic development. So when I see
Yeah.
them, when I hear them, even Alistair, right? Chashmo original. He was one of my students as well. And I'm so elated that he's here supporting his alma mater. So from then I gained the position of head of department, and I have been working there ever since, until most recently, of course,
All
when I
right.
assumed this new position.
All right. I see
Yes.
why you say synopsis will not be able to
Tell
allow
me.
you to expound because 21 years at Kelly High School, you would have done a lot and you would have touched a lot of students. And we want
Yes.
to big you up. All right.
Yes.
So you would have taken on a new challenge, including myself,
Mhm.
last September the 1st. And we're almost at the end of our journey.
Mhm.
Could you share with my viewers how has that journey been to date?
I tell you, it has been most rewarding. I have really grown in appreciation for my team members. I have come to understand even myself and my capabilities. So the experience has really opened me up to a whole new level of self awareness. Um, there have been many challenges, especially this new norm. And ironically, Mr. Harris, you and myself being the new kids on the block, having the novel coronavirus here with us as well, we were all thrown into a fray. And you used an expression, pivot, and that has become one of my favorite expressions during the course of this leadership tenure. You have to learn to pivot and you have to learn to adjust and adapt at the drop of a hat. So my experiences have been fraught with pivoting and adapting. And thank God that I was always a person who could adopt easily. And I am so grateful for the support of my team members because believe me, a leader is just as great or as impactful as the team which he or she leads. And I tell you that these teachers, they had my back. They worked with me. They bought into the vision that we had. We tried to work along the lines of psychosocial development because that is who I am naturally, right? I love connections and I love to create a supportive environment. And that is what we were all about during this time. So we have learned how to roll with the punches, how to stay on the ship, because one of the things that leader needs to realize is that you have to have confidence under pressure. You have to have confidence during crisis. And you can't, as the captain, jump ship and leave your crew members and leave the passengers there. So in
Yes.
Jamaican parlance, you have to have a broad back, even broader than silver tips, to get you through the many challenges that you encounter, because everything was just so fluid. One moment it was this way and another moment it became another way. So the adaptability concept had to be in full effect, and the mindset where you learn to perform under pressure was also a trait that had to be developed. And I was very honest, sir, with my teachers, because I told them that this is my new norm as well, because the position was new to me as well. So I was very honest in my approach, and I approached them with a certain level of sincerity, because I told them that I do not know everything and I will never know everything. And that is why I want you to hold me accountable. And I also want you to work alongside me so that we can achieve some modicum of efficiency during these very challenging times. So it has been a very rewarding encounter.
Well, all right. I know you have more to share, but my viewers, you're listening to our vice principal for law school. That's from grades 7 to 9, Miss Pamela Henry. You know, as she said, we were rookie, new kids on the block. We were thrust into leadership, and we're almost at the end of our tenure. And I know that in doing our assessment, I believe that we would have done our best under the circumstances. So you can always send your questions, your best wishes. I see Mrs. Roberts. Yes, Miss Henry, way to go. All right, Miss Jennifer. Congrats, Miss Henry. Good, good. I see one of your students there. So I know that you would have seek to implement some initiatives and some programs. Would you care to share with my viewers some of those high points that you will take away from this experience? Some of the
Oh,
programs, initiatives that you would have implemented.
all right. Yes, I would indeed love to share some of these high points with the viewers. Um, Off the bat, though, because we were operating under a new norm, there were certain changes that we had to undergo to meet the requirements of online learning. So many of our reportage forms and documents for reporting had to be adjusted. And we went about adjusting our appraisal slash observation template to make it more online friendly. We also adopted new monthly report templates, and we even had a gender friendly lesson plan template for our men, because it is universally accepted that men do not love to write, especially
Yeah.
during COVID. So we had to move to make the entire process seamless and more convenient for them. So in terms of reportage and documentation, those are some of the new improvements that we had. Additionally, in December, we embarked on our ever first literacy awareness week, first in the history of Kelly's High School, under the auspices of the English department. And what we did was that we hosted a online literacy forum, and our very knowledgeable coaches, dare I say, Dr. Cruikshank and Dr. Gray Turner, were on board with us, also Dr. Margaret Chin, and they brought wonderful perspectives to the idea of literacy and how we could go about helping our children to learn, especially at this crucial time. In addition to that, we also went mobile because we had complaints about learning loss naturally. And many of our students were unable to connect because they had either connectivity issues or device issues. So we decided now to mitigate against that by going on the road. So a team of teachers went on the road for 2 consecutive days and we met our children. We went to the Crosshill Cultural Center. We went to the early infant institution at Comsey, and we taught our children there. And seeing that it was also Christmas time, the season of giving as well, we also gave them little tokens that we obtained from various sponsors within the community and also from the teachers themselves who gave us donations to support this cause. So that was for December. Now, at the start of the school year, what we did was that we remembered our men because many times they are not in the frame any at all. We leave them out of the picture. And so we had an approach, an initiative, so to speak, where we put the spotlight on the men and, we try to boost their morale. And we had what was known as manage, right? Male affirmation, no. And that was a way to get our male teachers to be more affirmative, to be more grounded and to be more eminent. And I can tell you that we have had some wonderful sessions where the men just put their feet up, let down their hair if they had any to let down, and we just jammed and we chatted, right? No topic was out of bounds. And even though March ended, we are still desirous of continuing this initiative based on the feedback that we have gotten. And we hope that Manage will be around for a very long, long time to come. Now, coming up this Wednesday, we are going to have an empowerment session for our middle leaders. And our middle leaders are our heads of departments and our grade coordinators, because we need to make sure that we equip them with the necessary skills and the necessary capacity building so that they can become better managers. And by being better managers and better leaders, they can impact our children in more meaningful ways. So we're going to have that empowerment session for them coming this Wednesday. Also, and you hear I keep saying also because we have a myriad
Yes.
of activities. We have the values and attitudes rewards program because we realize that we are not face to face. And there are children who are very faithful in coming online, very courteous students too, who complete their assignments and have generally positive attitudes to their work. So we want to recognize these students. So what we have is a values and attitudes program. And the form teachers and the subject teachers are engaged in getting their names together based on the evidence that is there. And we are going to recognize these children next month, right? Because remember that May is Child's Month. So we want to recognize these children for their efforts. And hopefully, if this COVID-19 persists, others who have not come on board or come online will feel inspired or motivated to make the necessary effort to do so. And also we have
Yes, go
our
ahead, go
middle
ahead.
leaders. We have a middle leaders rewards program. So next month, Teachers Day to be exact, the middle leader, that is the HOD or the coordinator, who has been very efficient in record keeping and documentation and so on, will be rewarded for their efforts. So my teachers were made aware of this from last term, and some of them have been working, some of them are even tied at this point. But I know that come the first week in May, that we are going to have a clear winner. And that is just one way to just boost their morale and to also recognize them as good leaders. So that is what we have for our teachers. And
All right.
the list will continue. Yes,
Yes, I realize sounds good. More than a mouthful. And
more than a
for
month.
those persons, for those persons who are aware about the operations at Kelitsai, we have the lower school portfolio in terms of leadership. So Miss Henry is in charge of those heads of departments as well as grade coordinators, and she has the grade 7 to grade 9. Miss Porteous, congrats to you both on a job well done. Thank you. All right. So I know there are a lot of highs. Congratulations to you, Miss Henry. You're getting another shout out there. Leticia Stewart Wright. Tracy Brissett, I think I know that name. Congratulations, guys. All right. We are indeed happy for your commendations and your best wishes. So, are there any laws, any area that would have extended you and caused you to have sleepless nights and you would have had real challenges in navigating such area or areas? You want to
Yeah.
share with us if there are any?
Yeah, most definitely. There have been lows because I guess to truly appreciate the successes and the highs, you really have to appreciate the setbacks. And there have been challenges. I think chief among those challenges is the follow through, right? Because we have many plans, and research will tell you too, that many strategic plans, 90% of them, they don't follow through on execution. So, based too on our current realities, we had challenges in executing our targets and our goals, and sometimes they could become overwhelming for the team members because you have a wonderful action plan and there are tasks there to achieve and tasks which would have been very glorious, but our hands were tied. And we had to learn, and I'm using my favorite word again, learn how to pivot and to work around them. Right.
Yes.
And even at this point, tomorrow, all being well, I'm going to meet with my heads of departments and my coordinators because we're going to engage in a action plan inventory summary because we want to ascertain the goals that we have yet to accomplish and what are the necessary setbacks, what is preventing those goals from being achieved, and see how much we can work towards achieving those by incorporating
Lovely.
the appropriate action steps, right? So one of the major challenges that we encountered was the follow through on the activities that we had planned as well, right?
Due to the online
Due to
platform
the
and
online
operations.
platform
Good.
and operations, yes, sir. And
All
then
right.
I guess
Yes, go ahead.
one more. You see, there is this issue of vision, because it is good for you, the leader, to have a vision, and the others are not realizing it. So you know that it takes a bit of energy there and a bit of work to get others to buy into the concept that you are trying to
Yes.
purport at the time. We started off the year dubbing ourselves as game changers, and we have had some success in that area because we have tried to think out of the box and we have tried to innovate and we have tried to do as much as we possibly can, not normal, in an extraordinary fashion, to get learning across and to get the job done. So my colleagues have come on board with it because we wanted visions and actions that were not just based on theory, a concept of theory, but something that would have been practical that we can look back on and to say, all right,
Yes.
we have
Yes.
done these during this academic year. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I guess in summing up everything, seems as if you needed more time to accomplish all those plans. And therefore, we want to commend you for a good job. I mean, you would have exceed those expectations. And I know that you have much more to contribute to your beloved school. But in closing this interview, before we take any questions, um, what encouraging words would you want to leave with your students and your team members, the game changers, as
Or,
we seek to wrap up this interview? What would you want to leave to the grade 7 to 9 students along with your team members?
all right, let me start off with the students because indeed, um, there is a lot more to accomplish, but all good things must come to an eventual end. And so
Yes.
for my students, my grade 7 to 9 students, I encourage them to keep on working hard. I encourage them to continue setting their goals, and I encourage them to be strong amidst difficult circumstances, right? They need to realize that not everything in life is going to be easy, and there are going to be numerous setbacks. But you can't afford to just sit in the dust and decide that you're not going to go a foot further. If anything, COVID has taught us is that we can become resilient. And I want them to groom and nurture that resilient spirit. And then guess what? As Jamaicans, we all can. And I need them to affirm themselves every day. And I want them to look in the mirror and say to themselves, yes, I can, because I am a Jamaican, right? So I can. So
Yeah.
for my 79 students, nurture that spirit of resilience. Never give up and never quit. Continue to pursue excellence through determination. And then now for my co-workers, my colleagues, the ones who had my back, they know that it is manners and respect every time. And I want them to realize that, guess what? We should celebrate growth in whatever form, be it incremental or exponential, in whatever form we get it. We need to appreciate it. Also, I want to encourage them to become innovators. I want them to be ideators. I want them to think about doing things separate and apart from the norm, because the norm is not working again, right? What we're accustomed to, the landscape has shifted. We are in new seasons and new paradigms, and we need to go with the flow. Because if we continue to lust after what was, then we are going to be continuously overwhelmed. So I want them to posture themselves for change, posture themselves for newness, and posture themselves for innovation, right? And if they can achieve those things, then trust me, they are well on the way to efficiency and well on the way to greatness, right? I also
Um,
implore them to remember our core values of love and care and collaboration in everything that they do.
all
Yes.
right. Wonderful, wonderful, Vice Principal Henry. I'm sure that some of the students would be tuning in, your students as well as your colleagues, your team members. Great information. Yes, I believe so. And we continue to do as best as we can to raise the bar at Kellis High School and to make sure that the students are benefactor of such programs that we have. All right, good. So we have about 7 minutes to go for this broadcast. I'm going to ask Miss Henry if she has anything else to say, but just before that, my viewers, you can send me your questions at this time. Maybe you have some issues that you want to clear up for us to address. I'm going to ask you to do so now. Also, I want to share with you that the laptops for the PATH students, we should have received these laptops from the beginning of the school year. However, we have received these laptops now, and we are in the process of configuring them, uploading the programs on them, and starting this week, we will start to issue those laptops to students who are on path. So let me stress that again. All the students who are on path from grades 10 to 13. Grades 10 to 13 path students will start to receive their laptops starting tomorrow. For the grades 7 to 9, you will be getting tablets, but we have not received those as yet. So, Mrs. Roberts, congratulations, Mr. Harris and Miss Henry. You have both made your marks during your stint, considering that you both were new kids on the block. Job well done. All right, thank you. We indeed very much appreciative of your comments, and we continue. We won't stop here. We continue to do our best. Miss Henry has been there 21 years. I have been here 22 years. So we are almost, we have spent the same number of years basically at Kelly High School. And we have only willing to do what it takes to improve the school. All right. Any other comments? Any questions? Seems not. So, Miss Henry, um, I think we're getting affirmations and congratulations. Not seeing any questions. So it seems as if we would have presented all the necessary information to our stakeholders. I know that students are on, teachers are on. There's a question here. How do you track students absent from school and how can you help those parents? All right. So we have done the tracking in various ways, mainly through our form teachers and our subject teachers. So for those students who are not logging on, we get a daily report because student teachers have to submit what is called a daily virtual learning log, and that comes to the vice principal along with the principal. And we would examine this information. We would share the students' information who are not logging on to the form teachers, grade coordinators, head of department, subject teachers, and most importantly, the guidance counselors. So they are tasked with the responsibilities to do home visits and to find out what is happening. And we would have gotten some success through these initiatives. But the reality is that there are so many students who are not logging on because one, the internet connectivity, and two, the interest may not be there as well, especially for the grades 10 to 13 students. Many of them have sought employment. Sorry to say, some of them have started their family, but we still reach out to them. We continue to encourage them that it is not too late. And these are some of the things that we have done to reach out to these students. I must easy to say that as the year would have evolved, we would have seen more students logging on. So I believe that in the ensuing years, I believe that persons will adopt to the new norm, and persons will realize that face to face may not be with us for the short future. So therefore, we have done what we can to try to reach out to those students, but there is still more to be done. All right. So, Miss Henry, as
Yes.
we approach the end of another broadcast, um, are there any other thing of note that maybe I would have missed and you would have missed that you want to? I just give you a minute to share as we seek to wrap up this broadcast. Anything else that you would have missed that you want to share, or anything else you want to share? Over to you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Well, I just want to conclude by reminding my colleagues that we have to be reflective practitioners, especially in such a time as this, right? Always take time out to review the steps that you have taken, the conversations that you have accommodated, or even the plans that you have developed, because nobody is perfect. And by doing that, you can see where the shortfalls are, the pitfalls are, and then you'll be on the road to improvement. But if you have not identified an issue or a problem, it is highly unlikely that you are going to identify a resolution or a solution. So I encourage my colleagues to be reflective practitioners. And finally, I want them always to lead the charge. I am accustomed to seeing this little sticker, I think it's by Mahatma Gandhi, that says you need to be the change you want to see in the world, right? So I implore my colleagues to be role models for their children, role models for the community, role models for their peers, right? And when they lead the charge for change, then we are on the right path to the development. Amen.
All
Personal
right.
development and professional development.
Well said. Well said. I think that is a fitting note on which to end this interview with our vice principal, current vice principal for law school. And as was said earlier, we go on until the 30th, that's Friday. Now, for this broadcast, it may be rebranded going forward. We will share with you the developments in terms of the future for this broadcast. But it was my pleasure. It was very heart warmly to bring this program to you. I know that let me just take this question. There is a grant given to children who have their SRN numbers, but children in grade 9 have a different number. What is in place for grade 9 children? Not sure. I'm not sure if I'm understanding the question, Sharir. What I know is that there are some assistance that the government, I think it's $20,000, the government is given to this grant is given to parents to assist in the purchasing of laptops or tablets. But to qualify for such, the children will have to have an SRN number. I don't know if that's the question you're asking. So an SRN number would have been given to them from the primary school level, and that number would have um, carried on with them into high school. So what is in place for the grade 9 children? I'm not sure. But there is a grant that parents can access, and this grant will assist them in purchasing gadgets. For the PATH students, the government will provide those gadgets. The 7 to 9 PATH students will receive a tablet. Now, I'm not certain when those tablets will come. For grades 10 to 13, they will receive a laptop. For those who are not on PATH, they can access a grant from the government of Jamaica, but they do need a SRN number. So let me just clarify that. Sharia, all right? Yes, $20,000. Yes, indeed. So you just need to apply, complete the form. But I know some parents are having challenges with this number. But we do not give it out at high school. Students would have received it from, I think, grade 1, I believe, at the primary school level, and this number will continue with them up to tertiary level. All right? Any other questions, Mr. Chambers? As we bring this broadcast to an end, I want to thank my viewers for taking the time out to be with us. But the children who are in grade 9 and over, their number is different. All right, put my number on the screen, Mr. Chambers. Miss Kemari, you can send me a WhatsApp, and I'll try to get some more information for you. So my number will be going on the screen shortly because we have to close the broadcast. We are now 3 minutes over. So Mr. Chambers, I'm going to ask yes. So that's my WhatsApp number. You can send me a WhatsApp, and I'll try and provide some more information to you. All right, thank you. So thanks to my viewers. Thanks to all the stakeholders. Thanks to our Vice Principal for Law School, and the work continue. Thanks to all our supporters, our well-wishers. Thanks to Mr. Chambers. This has been a very rewarding experience for me in this capacity as acting principal. And I'm sure that we will continue to raise the bar at Kelly's High School. We'll continue to do our best to make sure that Kelly's High School becomes one of the best high schools in Jamaica. So we continue to do the work. We continue to crave your support. We continue to ask for your prayers, and we continue to work as hard as possible to stay safe. Please stay safe. COVID-19 is real, even though there are some persons who think that it's a hoax, and it is not real. But I want to say to you that it is real, and I want to encourage all my stakeholders to keep safe so that we can remain COVID-free. Thanks again, and we look forward to having another program sometime soon. You will get the updates in terms of the program as we go forward. So thanks again, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of the evening. And please remember to keep safe, you and your family. Thanks again. God bless you, and may God bless Jamaica, land we love. One love.